Welcome to Canuck of the Dead. As you can tell by the picture behind me and the name on the link that you clicked on, we're back at Freddy and we're on Freddy's Revenge, Nightmare on Elm Street 2. And without ado, here's my buddy Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, what's up, Rob? How's everybody doing out there?
We are getting ready for Freddy 2.
Yeah, I noticed in your intro you got a glove when it says when your introduction thing. What glove is that? Where'd you get that?
That is actually a picture of me at Hamilton Comic-Con. And it was not. It was at Frightmare at the Falls. So a gentleman actually made a whole bunch of gloves. He had one of the gloves with the hypodermic needles.
Oh, cool.
You know, he had a whole variety of them. And he let
It
me...
looked like a good fitting one. Like, I know NECA has the problem of it's too tight, so you can't make a fist anyways with it, but you can't. So yeah, it looked really good. You had it bent and everything. So.
Oh yeah, and there's actually a gentleman local to us in Chatham, Ontario, Canada, that makes them as well. He came to our very first Mall of the Dead when we took over the mall with zombies.
Oh, no way.
Yep.
Can we say his name?
I'm going to get his name because I'm drawing a blank on it.
Okay, no, you know a lot of people.
Yes.
It's tough. So.
Dang.
Don't worry about it right now. We'll get it on number 3.
Fair enough. But now
I want to contact him now. So.
Oh, absolutely. I'll definitely get you in touch with him.
Okay, good.
But for now, we are on number 2. So let's get everybody up to speed. Here's the trailer. Now, that's a classic trailer right there.
It is, but it's so all over the place, isn't it? It's like, what is this movie? You're trying to figure it out. But, okay, let's start with this, if you don't mind me taking this over for a second. What do you think of this movie? Just as a movie on its own.
This is the black sheep of the family, this one.
So, do you find it fun?
I enjoyed watching it, but it's not something I go back to a lot.
Yeah, I love this movie by itself. If you just take it as a standalone movie, and yeah, there's Freddy. I think it's one of the creepier Freddys with the makeup and everything. Red eyes now. Which I don't know if they go back to. I'm eager to watch number 3 now because I never really paid attention if they go back to the regular eyes or they stay with the demonic kind of eyes.
I agree with you there. Like, he is a scarier looking Freddy because the special effects guy, he only had a couple pictures of reference because they got a new one. So he actually started looking at burn victims. And
so they kind of restarted it. They had no context other than watching the last movie and going, okay, well, should I try that or should I do my own?
Exactly.
Any special effects artist could be like, I'm going to do this my own way, a little bit, you know.
So you are 100% right. He is still scary, and he's not. I think there's only one-liner in this movie. I think that's it.
Is that "You're All My Children Now"?
No, see, I don't even consider that a one-liner. That's
a
line
that stuck with me. I think it's because that's an epic shot.
Yes.
The more I look at it now, though, it's kind of cheesy, but I still love it. It still pays, you know.
Yeah, but see, that's scary too. The one-liners are the ones that are pure jest, you know, and it's like, oh my God, I can't believe he said that.
That was only one then. It seemed like every line that he says, it's like, you can tell he was a theater actor, right? Like,
and see, I thought it was 2 where they started kicking in the campy, but I guess it's 3, you know. Because
it's on its way in 2.
Well, yeah, like I said, the only one line is, you've got the body, I've got the brain. And it's like, oh my God, that's a groaner, you know?
The brain looked good. That's where
Freddy
pulls his skin off his head?
The effects were amazing because it even had that little pulse going on, you know?
Yep. And but it kind of paid off. I've heard cheesier. And in this movie, you kind of don't think that's cheesy. You're like, that's awesome compared to what else is going on in this movie.
Right, because this is the beginning still, you know. It's still a scary Freddy, you know. So, yeah.
So now, okay, as a part of this, you already don't like the movie. It's not that you don't like it. It's not one of your favorites. As part of the Freddy Krueger legacy, how do you find this movie?
I think that's why I think of it as the black sheep, is because I continue to look at it in the vein with all the other films.
Because I say, as a standalone, it's I can watch it and I like it, and there's lots of stuff that I take away from it. I think it's fun. I think it's energetic. It's got some great parts in it. But as part of the Freddy legacy, I hate it. There's so many things that I'm sure we'll talk about them. It just doesn't make sense to me as part of the. It's like Halloween 3 in the Halloween series. What's going on here?
Yes.
That's how this is. But then it, the rest of the series kind of goes its own way. But it still follows the Freddy. But
well, let's start right at the beginning, like when we have that opening scene with the bus driving.
You know the story behind that, right?
With Robert Englund driving?
Yeah, but it's kind of a continuation of the last movie, right? Because the original ending one of the endings that they shot on the first one was that Freddy was Robert Englund was supposed to pick him up on a bus, almost the same thing, and then turn into Freddy, and Freddy's driving the bus, and Wes was like, "No, we're not. Freddy doesn't drive vehicles. He doesn't need to. He's in dreams." And Bob Shea really wanted to build on a second, so they kind of came with the car where he possesses the car, and I thought that was a great ending too. But I guess Bob Shea got his way on the second one, but I guess he wanted to use the original characters in the beginning scene, and out of respect for Wes, he asked him, and he's like, "Please don't, just make another movie."
Wes hates this one. Wes
we all. I think you don't even have to be a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, and Wes Craven hates this movie, and a lot of other people do too. But I don't see the hate. I don't understand the hate.
And that's just it too. I don't think there's a movie out there I hate. Okay, wait, Birdemic. But other than that,
I can find joy in that. Like, I think the closest for me is probably Cannibal Holocaust, because there's just too much animal violence in there, and it's a movie I watched once, and I enjoyed the movie if it wasn't for the animal stuff. But I hate that movie because of that. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I still enjoy it. Like I said, I didn't mind rewatching this thing the other day. Popped it in. It's like, it's been a long time since I've seen it. So again, I enjoyed it, but I probably won't throw it back in anytime soon.
Not for a while. And geez, when I do you remember watching this as a young kid?
I do.
The some of the stuff that stuck with me really didn't stand the test of time. The dogs with the faces. Yep. I think I've made my dog scarier by putting a Freddy Krueger mask on my dog. I got a picture of that. I'll send it to you. But that it's just, and you can see the dogs are kind of backing up to get out of the mask, and it's like, the bird scene. But we're gonna go through that. I think we're still at the beginning, so.
You can talk about whatever you want, whenever you want. I know it was interesting that originally they didn't even hire Robert Englund to play Freddy when they first started the film.
Well, at that time, you had Halloween and Friday the 13th, and all those movies, they were on their seconds. By that time, because it was 85. So they were changing out whoever Mike Myers was and Jason. So they saw that, and they're like, well, geez, let's get rid of him. Let's get a stunt actor. And I guess on day one, they were like, nope.
Yeah, I guess it was
whatever
2 weeks of filming. That's all it lasted, was 2 weeks of filming, and Robert Shea realized it was a terrible idea.
I'd love to see some of the footage is still in the movie that the stunt guy filmed.
Really?
But I just heard that today when I was doing a little bit of research for this.
But that's just it. You can't replace Freddy, because you see, just take a look. You see his face. You can replace Michael and Jason and, anybody like that, because they're covered their head in a mask.
Well, look what happened to that Jackie Earle Haley. Like, you could have made his face, like maybe given him a little bit more in the cheeks and drawn out his chin a bit to make him look more like Robert Englund. But I don't think that's what they wanted to do with that anyway. So, totally different movie, totally different feelings on that. But
we'll get to that one.
Yeah. Are we gonna have to watch that?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I that's a pretty funny fact for people, is that Robert Englund almost wasn't that one, and that would have been.
There's only 2 times I've ever seen that happen. This one and Mallrats, where when they were doing Mallrats, Jason Mewes almost wasn't Jay.
Really?
The studio did not want him. And Kevin had to go to bat saying, look, he is Jay, he'll be good.
Because of his side.
Because of Jay.
Yeah, how he is, yeah.
They had Seth Green on standby.
I love Seth Green, but he can't do, I don't know. It's his character. So it's like Robert Englund. It's his.
Yeah. How could Jay not play Jay, right?
That's crazy. I didn't know that. Yeah, but I could see that because he's a crazy person. But he's he's living the lifestyle at the time, right?
So. Exactly. Now let's look at some of the people that were supposed to be Jesse. We have Brad Pitt's back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. John Stamos, Christian Slater, and almost Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say him. How weird would that have been, really? Like Michael J. Fox.
Marty McFly versus Freddy. I just no.
You know what I don't get is that like Robert Englund was asking for too much money, and they were going after Michael J. Fox, who I would think at that time with was it Silver Spoons? Is
it Growing Pains? No, not Growing Pains.
Family Ties.
Family Ties. There we go.
You figure he'd be asking for pretty big money because he was like the king of TV at that time. Him, Tony Danza, and whoever else was on, Ricky Schroeder maybe.
But man, yeah. It's interesting, though, because, John Stamos did end up playing a Jesse, but it was an Uncle Jesse in Full House.
Yeah, so he got it. He got the part.
Close. Yes. But yeah.
Little gayer.
No, Brad kept trying to get into this franchise.
Just as hard as he could, eh? But I'm trying to remember if there was somebody that was on when we get to the actual show. I know there's a couple famous people sprinkled in there. I don't know if he's one of them, but we'll have to rewatch it at that time. So
that would be interesting, yeah. But even and Robert Englund has even said this is his least favorite Nightmare movie.
Like I understand, I don't get all the hate. Like,
I think let's talk about that elephant in the pool, okay? Because literally that pool scene is what kills it for me.
There was a lot of things. Like if we're talking about the legacy, I'm talking about it as a standalone movie. It's entertaining. I actually love the pool scene.
Yes,
but
it's not.
But the
Freddy,
parakeet scene, the parakeet scene before that, you're like, what the hell is this? Like even that one part just makes me go, okay. Even for like that's a dumb part in any movie, even if it was a possession movie just about a haunted house.
See, that's why I think you're right. As a standalone, it's great because there's no laws,
Yeah.
But when you look in the Freddy universe, he can now possess a bird to explode. And why is he coming out into real life at a pool party?
Because after I watched it, I sat there and I was like, do they ever explain how Freddy gets into our world?
No, it's not like in the first one.
He just does it, right? Like I know he was trying to use Jesse's body. Like he's saying, I need your body. But that was, take that with your context, however you will.
The only thing I think might explain it is that scene where he rips out of Jesse.
He comes out. He's almost born because he comes out of the stomach.
Yeah.
Like it's.
But yet, about 30 minutes later, Jesse's back.
Yeah. So did he reform? Did he eat him back up? Did he?
Yeah.
And why did he do that in the first movie? Like, hey, Johnny Depp, I'm gonna come out of your stomach and just kill everybody. But then that leaves him. Like, can he be killed then? Because the dad comes out with a shotgun, horrible shot. He ends up hitting, I think, like a dish or something.
Yep.
So, like, can he die at that time? Because he walks into the bushes and they turn in the fire. Like that stuff he does in dreams.
Yep.
And he's creating fire and like the pool's heated up to a point where it starts on fire, I think.
That's what I mean. If they had turned that into a dream sequence, that would have been amazing in the Freddy franchise.
Like somehow make everybody fall asleep. Like that would be like if he maybe possessed Jesse to drug everybody falls asleep, and then he can wreak havoc on whoever he wants, right?
Yep. The only thing you'd have there is what's their connection to Freddy? Like, why is he in their dreams all of a sudden? That would be the only issue I could see. Then
it'd be like, I can deal with that hiccup.
Exactly.
Like, Jesse brought him there, and he wants them to all die, so whatever, But to me, this is like, if you're watching Friday the 13th and all of a sudden Jason just takes off and flies, just flies across the camp and lands on the other side. You're like, what? Is nobody going to explain that? Like, can he fly now? Okay, I guess he can fly, but I don't know. We'll deal with this.
Yep, the Reed Richards super long arm to catch the girl, bring her back.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
See, those are funny parts. Like, somebody make a movie where the guy can do, take all these characters and make them just do stuff that they can't usually do.
I found out it's really cool with my camera because it looks like my arm's getting
I was like, whoa, a little touchy here.
3D. But I think that's the biggest problem I have is they don't stick to the rules. Just like Jamie Kennedy says in Scream, right? You gotta follow the rules. If you set it up, follow it.
What I started thinking afterwards, like because I have a lot of anger towards them trying to change Freddy in that. But I'm like, there's got to be other horror movies where they went in a direction, and I might not have liked it at that time, but I've grown to love it. I went through all like the sequels of horror movies and be like, did they change what the original was supposed to be? And you know, like you look at Amityville and they're doing like stuff in space now, I guess. But
Well,
you know, I couldn't think of any. And usually when they do change it, they have an explanation how goofy. You know, they come up with the weirdest stuff to explain how to change the character into something that adapts to our times as stuff grows, right?
So then let me ask you now. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Who is Freddy getting revenge against? Yeah, that's pretty much where I sat for a long time going, I have no idea.
Well, I'd have to say it'd either be the friend, what's his name?
Where is it here? Ron Grady?
Yeah, Ron, or the gym school teacher, because their deaths are the only ones that I can recall right now that are actually like, I'm just coming for you. Like even the friend's death, like more the gym school. Maybe then that's who the revenge is on, the gym school teacher, because he seeked them out and got them and took them back and killed them. Where all the other deaths were like, you're here, I'm going to kill you. You're here, I'm going to kill you. That's just in my head, because the girl didn't hit, the love didn't die. Even Jesse himself didn't perish. All the people at the pool party, they were just like, you know, in Star Trek with those, what is it, the red suits. They're disposable. So that's who they were.
If you got a red shirt on, you're doomed.
You're gone. So did you catch the one guy at the party who tried to reason with Freddy too? He's like, hey, settle down.
Oh, yes.
Everything's going to be okay. And I love it. They didn't overdo the luck. He was just like,
yeah, good luck with that. Yes.
Yeah. Did you see me? Did you see what I look like?
You saw the first movie, right?
Even if you didn't, if I ran into a guy that looks like that, I'd be like, I'm not going to reason with this guy. I'm just going to run that way.
Yep. You go there. I'll be over here.
And it's funny how they all just kind of stood around. Like, I guess in the 80s, you just watch stuff. Now that we have cell phones and can see whatever we want at any time of day, we just take off if we see that.
We get a little smarter. We run.
Or you film it. You're one of those dummies that have to film it.
Yeah, exactly. You either got smarter or dumber. Camera.
Oh, geez, I don't think that's an option. Because I kind of got both.
Both?
Smarter and dumber.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So now let's talk about Jesse. Because this film, depending on the country you're in, is viewed differently. You know, in Europe, they love this film because of the homoerotic overtones throughout the whole film. You know, and even Mark Patton, the main Jesse, right? He says he's technically the first, what did he say? First male scream queen.
Yep. And I like he should have been in a death metal band. Like his screams in that movie are amazing. Like the first time I remember as a kid hearing him when he was, I think the first scream in that for him is he wakes up and his parents are downstairs eating. Did you catch the cereal? Watching that the other day, hilarious.
Fu Manchus.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so fun. So yeah,
that's when you get the little talons, you know.
Is that what it was? I was trying to remember. I was trying to think of what the connection would be to see if on the box he was like sitting like this. I paused it.
Yeah, because there's like supposedly long fingernails. So you get the fingernails in the cereal box.
I have to go back and pause that. I thought it was just hilarious, but good writing, good direction, whatever that is. But then the screen comes out, and I was like, I wonder if he actually did that, or they had a woman.
I don't know, because it's 3 more times throughout the film, and they all sound pretty close.
And it was his. It was definitely his for sure. There's one where he starts off with his type of tone, and then really ramps it up and hits like that scream. I don't know. I hate calling it like a girl scream because it's just a scream. You know, it's
exactly.
Just, men are taught to go yeah, which isn't believable. Ooh, I'm gonna die. But yeah, to go along with that, like it's the 80s, you know, I was 4 when this movie came out. So for me, I was not on the plane of thinking it was gay, straight.
Exactly.
I was just like, whoa, it's Freddy. Get him, Freddy. You know,
But
actually, I think I was still terrified of Freddy at the time. So I wasn't rooting for him, but I was like, yeah, no, this, you know, I was just rooting for him.
Apparently, that was one of the reasons Robert wanted to do it, is because he wanted to play with those tones between him and Jesse.
Yeah, I heard that, like, because the director was like, I had no clue it was a gay movie, and the writer was like, I didn't write a gay movie. Everybody else who read the script was like, this is a gay movie. This is pretty gay. And like Robert was like interested in it, and
there was only a few things that I guess Mark Patton put a kibosh on when it came to that. I guess there was one spot where Robert wanted to put Freddy's knives in his mouth.
You know what? I just watched this documentary because I've been putting it off for a long time, and apparently it was the special effects guy, because Robert asked him if he could put the claw or his thumb in his mouth, and he's like, yeah, sure, I'll go with whatever. And then the special effects guys go, oh, we need you over here, Mark. And as he pulls him aside, he's like, do not put his finger in your mouth.
Really?
It's going to look like you're giving
him more. Oh, okay.
Do not do that. And he's like, oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
So he put the kibosh on it.
Yeah, which, you know, I don't, because that's one of the scenes that Mark talked about, Jesse, was they called it the stare scene. And he said that was when I realized this was really, really gay, not just how I envisioned it. Because Freddy was like caressing his face, and he's like, you got the body, I got the brains. Like everything's there's undertones there, right? Of just, plus the whole shower scene. It's like,
yes.
After that place that they filmed at is like, at that time was the biggest gay bar in LA. So it's like, come on. But they threw women in at that time. Did you remember how on the last one I'd said Bob Shea, leather, you caught him there? Yeah.
Yep.
I thought he had a line in there, but he actually didn't say anything. He's just there in his leather, and it was.
Apparently he originally wanted to play Mr. Grady, but they talked him out of it.
Oh, really? Yeah. He's pretty stiff. He's not what I would call a flowing actor,
yeah,
or whatever.
You look in that scene with no lines, and like he's super stiff. It's like, oh, I'm glad he didn't speak.
Drink him now. But he pulled off the leather good. You know, good.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They pulled off that leather.
Right. That was popular in the 80s, right?
Yeah. So after that, the movie came out. Mark Patton gave up acting because of what was going on at that time with the culture. He took off and lived in Mexico. Nobody found him.
Has he done nothing since?
Nothing until that the documentary Never Sleep Again, which came out like 5 years ago, I think. They hired a private detective that found him in, I don't know, somewhere in Mexico, and they talked him into it. And he said the only way that he would do a reunion type thing is if he could talk to David Sherskins, the writer of, because he kept saying, he always said, oh, I never wrote a gay movie. And then as soon as the gay culture became, you know, now it's nothing. And if anything, this movie's applauded for being what it is. And he started taking credit. Yeah, well,
that's not what you said.
Mark was like, wait a second here. I just want you to. So when they met up and they actually talked about it, he's like, you know that you put it off. And he said the movie at one point was supposed to be homophobic, and that the true love of a woman can defeat evil, because that's what happens in the movie. So it's like, wow, this guy's all over the place. And he wrote The Curse. I don't know if you've ever seen that horror movie.
Oh, yeah. With Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
And Jesse Eisenberg.
No, The Curse from the 80s.
Oh, The Curse. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking Cursed. Never mind.
And he wrote another big one, but I can't remember what that was. But yeah, he's kind of an oddball, but most writers, you have to be.
Actually, I'm just checking. It looks like he did a couple things after, but then disappeared, because he did a CBS Schoolhouse special in 86, an episode of Hotel in 86, and then I guess there's a movie called Misplaced, and he played a roughneck.
What
and
did he
then
do before?
before Freddy,
Yeah.
Come Back to the Five and Dime, Jimmy Dean in '82.
That was Mark's first movie too. So they worked together before this.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Mark Patton and Cher's in it.
Oh wait, isn't that who we're talking about? Mark Patton?
Oh no, I was talking about the writer Dave Sherskins.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you meant Mark. That's why I was pulling that up.
Mark Patton did a bunch of commercials. He had some TV, did Broadway for that, and then they made a movie of it. Because who's Robert Altman? He's a good director.
Okay, let's see here. Okay. Oh yeah, it looks like he did 2 things after that. But and actually, the way it is with writing, because with the film festival, I even had someone approach me about this. Because in our film festival, it says it has to be made from January 2001 or after. He goes, well, I've been working on this script since, like Jesus walked the earth. And I go, does it still count? I go, well, technically, until it's filmed, you're constantly changing it. So
it's never ending. Yeah,
so
it might never get made. So
who knows when he actually wrote these things? They were just made, like you said, The Curse and I, Madman.
I, Madman. That's a great movie. If you've never seen it, watch it. It's really good.
So,
but I think that's it, rather than a couple movies or TV shows scattered in there.
Oh, and then another movie in 2000 called Love Hurts. But yeah, he is like off the grid.
Yeah, that movie seemed to. There is a good show called Cursed Films, and I wouldn't say this one's cursed, but it was the end of a lot of people's. And good actors, it seems like in the movie, because it had great acting. If there's bad things about this movie, I wouldn't say it's the acting.
No, and that's the really cool thing I like to be able to do, is to pull out the actors from the film to see where the fault lays, so to speak.
Yeah,
and their performances were good.
This one's kind of, I think, the times maybe, and the fact that you're building on a legacy. If I was a director, I got handed like something juicy. I would, especially if I wasn't a huge fan of it. Say I got a Star Wars movie, I'd be like, no, because I will not do it justice.
Okay. You see,
I've never seen any Star Wars movies. So
what?
Like, yeah, I know.
How did you get on my show?
I don't have any friends, right? Horror. It's horror. Horror is a beautiful thing. It brings people together. Even the oddest couples.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, no. I was wondering if you had anything else. I feel like I've just been talking.
Oh, no. I've got something to bring up as soon as we come back, because I'm going to see if Nick knows the connection between this movie and The Karate Kid.
Oh, no.
Stick around.